What's up YouTube, this is Collect Pokemon and welcome back to another video. So this video is mainly going to talk about grading companies. The uprise of many different grading companies had me thinking, as an investor and as a collector, how would I send my card? Where would I send my card? Where should I send my card? And why would I even grade cards in the first place? So yeah, basically this video is mainly going to be about my thoughts, my personal feeling, my insights, and what I would do. It is not targeted at any uprising companies or uprising grading businesses. You know, people can do what they want, but I can still have whatever I think to be right or wrong, or what I would do. So yeah. Let's hear it. But before we get into it, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to join us on Patreon or the membership website, which sends you a mystery package every single month. And yeah, that's that. Evolving Skies Live Breaks pre-order is also available on the website, so do go check that out. Yeah, let's get into it. So, in this recent 2 months from CollectorCon and things, I've been reading a lot of posts that many different individuals are starting or investing or being part of a grading company. You know, we have I think it's called Robo Grading from Gary, Pokemon King. We have Ace Grading from Randolph. And then we have the GMA that has been there for a long time. We have the SGC, which was there for a while. We also have like a PKMN grading, which uses some sort of magnetic casing, something along that line. And we also have the PSA, BGS, as well as CGC. So there is a number of grading companies. There are, yeah. And I think that there are actually more that I actually don't know the name of. And they're all saying that, yeah, we're starting to grade Pokemon cards. We'll only start with Pokemon cards. A lot of these are really focused on Pokemon or even other TCG cards. We'll get more into that in a bit. Now, the first question is, if you're here for a simple answer, would I grade with any of these companies as a collector? My answer is no. Will I grade with any of these companies as an investor? My quick answer is no. And so, yeah, basically, if you're just looking for that answer, you can hit the like, subscribe, and you can stop watching. But if you want to hear my rationale, here's the thing. Now, the purpose of people grading cards is to authenticate a card. They want to know if it is real. Second, they want to retain a certain amount of value, or they want it to be different to other cards so that it can have a better value. And PSA, BGS, CGC, always aim to do such thing, which is to grade the card for a specific, grade, and it will be, of 5 times or 2 to 3 or 5 or 10 times higher value than the regular ungraded or the raw version of the card. For me, another reason why I like encapsulating card is for its protection. I want to protect the card so that in the long run, if it was a very high-end card, I can make sure that I'm not damaging it, or just regular humidity, these sort of stuff is not damaging to the cards. And yeah, that's pretty much all the reasons why I would go and grade some cards, either for profit, for protection, for authentication. I can't even say that word. So that's why actually, if you guys have been paying attention to my channel, I did explore into opening an encapsulation, company myself. I never call it a grading company because, my plan was never to grade a card, because to me, grading, the grade itself isn't that important as a collector. To me, as a collector, it is about protecting the card or displaying the card. So, there is still a project that is ongoing. I'm still looking into it, but I just don't know whether it is the right time to start that or to push forward that project. Is my card encapsulation project, which, I would discuss that in future video if I've decided to carry it on. And, I've never thought about grading the card because, who's correct about the grade? Whose judgment it is to say whether a card is nice looking or not nice looking. I mean, there are objective measures, but later on that. So that's the reason why I would grade cards. Now, why did I say I will not send my card to any other grading company than pretty much PSA and BGS. I'm sorry, CGC. I still don't feel good sending cards to CGC even up to now. I did send some cards, their case are nice, I do agree, but it's just that for the purpose I have as an investor, I am unlikely to send it to CGC. And unless it is some sort of era card which they can actually identify, and for PSA and BGS they can't. That's the only exception I would have if I was an investor. So I'm gonna get some water. So people send cards, and there's only two types of cards. There's a lot of Pokemon cards, I know, but there's two types: high-end Pokemon cards and low-end Pokemon cards. Now, don't ask me how do I define high-end and low-end, because you can decide. If it was a Charizard, I would say high-end. If it was a trophy card, it is a high-end. If it was a really rare promo card, high-end. Vintage, some holo vintage card, high-end. You can just look at the price and tell me whether a card is high-end or low-end very easily. Now, there's the low-end one, there's the high-end one, and for the low-end one, I classify it or categorize it into two types. The low-end that would forever be low-end, and the low-end that has potential to become high-end. Okay? Okay, good. So high-end, low-end, low-end, there's two types. One is always low, one is potential to become high-end. Now let's talk about the high-end cards first. High-end cards, I grade them, or I would grade high-end cards because I want it to be of a better value. I want it to protect the card. Now, actually, some people might not even know if they want either one or both. So first thing first, high-end cards, I would definitely send it to PSA or BGS because of its liquidity. People recognize PSA and BGS, and so therefore it's only logical for me to send it to those companies. What makes high-end card high-end is because of a price reference. If people cannot find a price reference for sold price or sold listing, or it is so awkwardly rare in the sense, people don't know how to price these cards. For example, if I have a Black Label Munch Pikachu, which I do, it's very difficult for me to price this card because I don't know how to reference this card. Some people say, hey, a Black Label is 10 times a gold label, it's 5 times a gold label, it's 20 times a gold label. But to be very honest, it is so rare that you can't really, there's no reference point to it. And because of that, the reason why PSA and BGS grading is much stronger than all the other companies is because we can easily find a PSA reference to many cards. A PSA 10 first edition Charizard, we can find reference of a last sold price. But if I'm looking at a GMA or something like that, the question is, would I find one? And even if I find one, would the price be something that I want to sell it at? Because if you go on to many eBay listings, the GMA card, or I think there was a SGC cards, those have been on the market for a long time. And if you guys look at the sold listing, the price of the same equal card is much lower than its PSA or BGS counterpart. And that is just what it is. It is to do with the brand name. And the second thing is that we know PSA and BGS cards will always be around. So for high-end cards, you really don't want to, down the line, 10 years, 20 years down the line, you really don't want to take out a card and say, oh, I graded with blah, 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 ABC. Oh, where's ABC? Oh, it's shut down like, 10 years ago. But ABC, when it was grading this card, it gave them like the pristine, perfect 10. So this card, I'm auctioning it off. Yeah, like if the ABC website doesn't even exist anymore in the long run, how do you even say it's a good graded card? How do you say it's a graded company? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. PSA and BGS and CGC is likely to stay because of the size of the company. Pokemon card is only one very, very small portion of their whole business. PSA grade many sports cards as well as other TCG cards. Same with BGS, CGC grades a lot of comic card. And they actually have, they are part of an umbrella of grading things such as grading of coins, stamp, poster, memorabilia, you name it. There's this, they kind of acquire a much more wider spectrum. And these companies are very unlikely to not be here 10, 20, 30 years later. They will still be here. But it is very difficult to say all the other smaller grading company, will they still be around? So with that said, I'm not going to entrust my high-end cards with the other grading company like ABC, CBC, ABC, you know what I mean. I said ABC twice. Anyway, so what about the low-end cards? Now the low-end cards is, why would people grade the low-end cards actually? First thing, if you're grading like low-end forever eternal cards, that's stupid. Like, why would you even do that? But if you're grading low-end cards because you foresee its potential to grow, then that's interesting. So a lot of people will say, hey, the low-end cards, there's potential to grow. And, PSA takes a long time to grade. BGS takes a year. PSA takes a year and a half to grade. So, I'm going to try out the new grading companies because a new grading company promises, a 30-day return or whatever, like a really quick return. Dude, a low-end card that have potential to grow, are you really going to sell that card after 30 days, 60 days after you grade it? Or are you going to wait until 5, 10 years time when it actually grow? And if you're waiting 5, 10 years time, I actually don't mind PSA keeping my card for 2 or 3 years and then sending it back to me later on. Because to be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care how long it takes because I simply bought that card for a very long-term investment to see its potential in growth. I don't really care. Why would I care if it is 30 days return? So yeah, and the good thing is PSA and BGS, they're not even charging me until later on, a year down the line when they grade it. So I'll just send it off, and by the time that they're ready to grade it, the price would have risen, and then I paid the grading fee and I can sell it off eBay. So yeah, for the low-end potential growth cards, I'm also unlikely to send it to other grading companies simply because speed of grading or the time it takes to grade, it's not my concern. It doesn't concern me at all. So yeah, that's the thing. That answers the rationale behind why I would not send cards to grade in other grading companies. Now, one word that really bothers me with grading, this has to do with PSA and BGS as well, is the word AI. People get all like, oh my God, it's AI. Oh my God, that must be good. That must be objective. Okay, to be honest, who looks at a card using AI? You use your eyes to look at a card, okay? Like, if there are micro dent or micro, non-smoothness of the surface, if you can't even see it with your eyes, why are you even spending time to grade it in that sense? Why does it have to be machine perfect? What is the card for? The card is a piece of art. A piece of art is not judged by a piece of machine that gives a objective criteria as to whether it is flat, whether it's... If you can't see the centering being an issue, it is not an issue. If you can't see the scratch mark of this micro scratch, it's not an issue. We're not inventing, we're not creating like a, I don't know, we're not creating a starship that these micro dents and micro cracks is going to affect our life. Our eyes can't see it, so be it. So it's really frustrating when I see the word, oh, we're using AI to grade stuff. I always say, that's a laugh. AI grading stuff means it's cheaper in the long run, it's cost saving, and it just tells me that those companies doesn't care about the cards. So yeah, it's actually really funny. Yeah, AI. Anyway, so that's that. That's why I think that many of these grading companies will not survive in the long run, not because of its lack of popularity. They might be very popular, but I just don't see the longevity in many of these grading companies. And I don't want to put high-end asset of mine to them or to be graded by them, but later on to find that I would have to cross-grade it or break it out of the case to send it back to other grading companies. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? You can totally completely disagree with me and you're willing to try all the new grading surface out there. Or if you agree with some of my rationale, let me know, because I'm open to listen to many things, but I do have my personal opinion, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. This is Collect Pokemon. Bye bye.